That's why I rock with him.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
That's why I rock with JV, man.
JV.
NFL free agency just smacked us right across the face. As always, day one of free agency did not disappoint, and we are here to break down all the blockbuster moves of day one, covering all the franchise players on the move. So we're going to dive right in. As you are here, might as well go hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications, do whatever you got to do to stay up to date with the content, because we are just getting started with an incredible NFL offseason. Kicking us off this evening, number one, the New England Patriots are building their playoff team. They are now a threat to every single playoff contender in the AFC. In free agency so far, Milton Williams, Carlton Davis, Morgan Moses, and even more. They've spent $162 million of their cap space, and they're not even close to being finished. They're not even close. If they go out and get a veteran target, like a Cooper Kupp, like a T. Higgins, and they go out and draft a target for Drake May, like a Travis Hunter at the number 4 spot, the New England Patriots are one of my favorites to then make a playoff spot. The transition over to Mike Vrabel was an absolute no-brainer. Anyone that says otherwise needs to tap in with reality. I know it's unfortunate the way the Jerod Mayo situation played out, and I can see how morally some people might not be satisfied with giving Jerod Mayo 1 year with somewhat of a broken team, especially a broken offense. But when you have a coach of the year who has proven he can take a team to the playoffs and win games, who has ties with the franchise and understands the culture of winning that New England presents, it is a no-brainer. It is an absolute no-brainer. And Mike Vrabel is the perfect fit for a team that is transitioning now into playoff mode. So I would keep an eye on the Patriots as they move forward, because they still have some more money. They got a prime draft pick in the upcoming NFL draft early on, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go after someone like Travis Hunter to help them resolve the targets issue that they've had. They're going to patch up the O-line a little more, but the defense, it's there. And now that they have the proper coaching with Mike Vrabel, who's going to be in the building for a long time, mark my words, I'm telling you, New England, they're scary. They're scary, and they're a good team moving forward. Number two, the New York Jets pick up Justin Fields. How about that? I mean, I thought Fields might have been the future in Pittsburgh. I think a lot of people thought that, but obviously Pittsburgh thought otherwise. And New York sees the potential with Justin Fields. Here's my question for you, though. Justin Fields is back with a defensive-minded head coach paired with poor protection and only one realistic target. So what's going to go wrong? Who knows? What could go wrong? He finally found his groove in Pittsburgh, which was fantastic. He went 4-2 before Russ stepped in. But listen, Fields is going to be nothing but average if the Jets remain the way they are right now. They need better protection. They need more weapons for Fields. And the defense right now, they've been recognized as a good unit in the past few years, but last season was absolutely depressing. Now, maybe Aaron Glenn steps in and he does something about that. But I caution Jets fans who are overly excited about Justin Fields right now. Hold on a second. Aaron Rodgers just left. He was a cancer in the locker room. I understand. Justin Fields is exciting. He's still young. He was an early draft pick. He has the potential. I don't think the team is there yet. I don't think they're even close, to be honest with you. So grabbing Fields is great. It's exciting having him in the building. That's cool, but you need to work out a long-term plan now. You haven't had success for a very, very long time. And as a New York Jets observer, I would say, hey, listen, we got to work out our stuff if we want Justin Fields to succeed. Justin Fields won't succeed unless the Jets build around him and actually believe in him as a developmental project. Because he really hasn't gotten the appropriate amount of work on appropriate teams with appropriate coaching, right? He really only got that in Pittsburgh, and the offense there was pretty bland. So the Jets got to do some work, but Garrett Wilson will certainly be one of the better targets Fields has worked with. That will definitely be an upgrade for him. Moving on to our third topic of the evening. The Seattle Seahawks are bringing on Sam Darnold as their future quarterback. The Seattle Seahawks moved from Geno Smith to white Geno Smith. It's the same thing. I'm seeing double. The only difference, Sam Darnold is younger, and you're getting Sam Darnold at a decent price as a bridge quarterback. $110 million over 3 years, $33 million per year for a guy that just won 14, 15 games with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I know, here we go. Well, Minnesota had this great team. Well, Kevin O'Connell, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, yada, yada, yada. I get it. But what Sam Darnold did through the first 13, 14 weeks of the season was impressive, regardless of what you have to say. But again, just like the Jets with Justin Fields, I caution the Seahawks, you can't expect Sam Darnold to be Superman without a legit roster. They need better protection. They need more than just JSN for Sam Darnold to throw to. Very few quarterbacks will go into Seattle right now and make a catastrophic difference. So we can evaluate Sam Darnold as a player this year based off the roster that he has. We can't. We cannot evaluate him. The second Sam Darnold got a half-decent, legit, competent roster with targets offensively, with a good coach, he was incredible. That was his first year in a legit system where he was the starter from week 1 all the way through week 18 and into the playoffs. Now, he looked dazed in the playoffs. I won't deny that. He has a lot of work to do still. But hey, give him some time now. Give him some time. I think if Seattle builds around him, and listen, Seattle needed to revamp that roster. With Geno, DK, Lockett, JSN, it was exciting. It was flashy. They would win 9-10 games, but they weren't going anywhere. They weren't competing with Philly, with Washington. I mean, are we being serious right now? They weren't doing that. So it was a good move to move off Geno, but they bring in Geno's replacement, and it's Geno Smith with a different name and a little different of a look. That's about it. In saying that, I think Sam Darnold can make an impact if the Seahawks choose to build around him. In shocking news across the NFC, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers bringing back Chris Godwin. Now, we just talked about the Patriots. I think a lot of Patriots fans expected Chris Godwin to be a New England Patriot. It was him. It was Cooper Kupp. One of them is off the table right now. Now, here's the interesting thing about Chris Godwin and the contract he took. Chris Godwin took a $20 million pay cut to stay with the Bucs, who also grabbed Hassan Reddick, might I add. Now, let's talk about Chris Godwin real quick. Chris Godwin was on track this season for 1,400 yards and 12 touchdowns. I know he's getting older. I know he has a long injury history. Chris Godwin is a top 10 receiver if he doesn't have the injury history. And you have to keep that in mind. Now, he's played his entire career alongside a future Hall of Famer in Mike Evans. So that plays a role into things. The attention isn't always on Chris Godwin. That being said, though, the numbers that he posts year in, year out, if he was healthy through the last 5 or 6 seasons, it would have been 1,000 yards every single season and probably even more. He has an absurd amount of talent. He is an incredible receiver. It is just the health that holds him back. But I think staying in Tampa for Chris Godwin is nothing less than guaranteed production. Guaranteed production. You have the relationship with Baker. You've been in the system. You know what's up. You're a veteran. I mean, put the cash in the bank. Chris Godwin returns to the Bucs, and I honestly think, hey, listen, Baker's improving. Mike Evans still got that juice in him. Another 1,000-yard season. Chris Godwin, Hassan Reddick. They played a pretty close game with the Commanders this past season in the playoffs. I would expect them to return, to be honest with you. I'm a big fan of Baker. I think he's sliding up my quarterback rankings every single day as we speak. And listen, I would watch out for the Bucs. I'm not necessarily saying they are Super Bowl contenders, but the playoffs, absolutely like we saw last season. All right, let's talk about something. So I wear different pieces of clothing on every single podcast. I try to spice things up. Sometimes a Jags jersey, sometimes a Bucs jersey, Jets, Buffalo Bills. I am building the wardrobe for the podcast. Today I chose to wear a Dallas Cowboys jacket here. Branded, show it off, get you guys checking out the gear. But there's a reason for that. The Dallas Cowboys haven't signed a free agent over $6 million since 2015. Do you need that repeated? Do you need that repeated? The Dallas Cowboys have not signed a free agent over $6 million since 2015. How absolutely unreal is that? Honestly, while blockbuster deals were being made today, the Dallas Cowboys, 2 moves of the day, signing Javonte Williams and a long snapper. That was Jerry Jones' home run hit for day one of free agency. Honestly, if I was a Cowboys fan, which I'm not, let's make that very clear, I would be losing my mind. Losing my mind. Are you serious? The home run moves of day one of free agency for the Cowboys was Javonte Williams and a long snapper. While Washington, Philly, Detroit, Chicago are all making their rosters better and forcing themselves to become playoff contenders, once again, Jerry has done exactly what he does best, which is absolutely nothing. Dak is still getting paid $60 million a year. That's insane. Javonte Williams, in the grand scheme of things, isn't that bad. They need an upgrade at running back. Rico Dowdle was okay, showed some promise, but Javonte's on a cheap deal, whatever. My problem is the Cowboys, they flow like this. Arguably go like this. They're arguably going down. And while all the other teams in the NFC around the Cowboys are just getting better. They're adding players. At least they're retaining their talent. The Cowboys lose talent every year. They're just gone. It disappears. And it's wild. It is wild. And once again, the Cowboys have stunned us by doing absolutely nothing. Doing absolutely nothing. So I thought I'd make a statement today with the jacket. When are things going to change? Oh, wait. Jerry needs to go. Jerry needs to go. That's how we'll wrap up that segment. Finally, arguably worse than the Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. I've witnessed some pretty bad NFL franchises, decision-making wise, with how they run their business, how they decide to pay their players, and who to trade for, who to sign, how to develop, draft, etc. The Cincinnati Bengals are competing for the most embarrassing franchise in all of sports right now. The Bengals have a triple crown receiver without a new contract. A top 20 receiver that has been franchise tagged. And an all-pro defensive end in trade talks. But don't worry, they got B.J. Hill today. I laughed out loud when I heard that news. I laugh out loud when I think of the Cincinnati Bengals franchise. Joe Burrow, respectfully, should be doing everything in his power to get out of Cincinnati. It is so bad. So bad. And I won't hear any discussions about the fact that Joe Burrow has had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Well, that's fantastic. He's got nothing besides that. And frankly, the one guy he actually does have, Trey Hendrickson, is, a day or two away of being shipped off to another team. It's shocking. The Bengals don't want to win. The Bengals don't care they have a generational talent at quarterback. They don't bother to address the needs right in front of them. They could have had Jamar Chase, Jesse Bates, T. Higgins, all at a way less expensive price had they paid them at the right time. And it wasn't like there was a lack of proof. There was tons of proof. Look at the sharp contrast between Philly and the Cincinnati Bengals. Zach Bond needed to be paid. He got paid. Howie set the market price. Howie made the reasonable moves of letting go James Bradbury and Darius Slay better for the franchise in the best interest of the team. But he also made sure Saquon Barkley, the guy that stepped in and helped them win a Super Bowl, got his payday. He locked down Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown, plus Jalen Hurts and Barkley through 2029, yet the Bengals, it's not that they can't get Jamar and T. Higgins locked down. They can't even get one of them. One of them. That's all I'm asking. Just one of them for Joe Burrow. Because you take them away, and he's literally left with nothing. Literally left with nothing. So yeah, that's shocking to me. That's shocking to me. And I think I was expecting maybe something to be done at this point. No, we got nothing. So it's pretty embarrassing what I've seen from the Cincinnati Bengals, the moves that they've made or the lack thereof. And listen, if I'm Joe Burrow, I am furious in what my franchise has done for my career. There have been a ton of other free agency moves, but we have the rest of the week to get into that. We just went over a few big-time news topics, a few things I wanted to toss in there, some Cowboy slander, some Bengals slander. You know what it is. I appreciate you for rocking with me thus far. Once again, go ahead, subscribe on YouTube. Click that notification bell. Whatever you got to do, man. Stay up to date. We're on Instagram, TikTok, here on YouTube. You can find us anywhere. There is no excuse. You got to be tuning into the JV Show. I appreciate you all, and stay tuned for more content pumping out this week. Peace out.